Yeah, let's talk about Tiger Woods. This is catastrophic. He tears his Achilles tendon in a practice round last week. He was trying to get ready, not for the TPC, which is underway right now at Ponte Vedra, but he was trying to get ready for the Masters. He's gone. It's his 11th surgery, either on his back, his legs, or his feet. Torn Achilles tendon, Tiger Woods. Big weekend auto racing. Formula One kicks off the season, Australian Open in Melbourne. You got to watch the Australian Grand Prix. There are so many storylines. Sir Lewis Hamilton, first drive with Team Ferrari, won 105 races with Team Mercedes, jumped ship. They think they're going to be good, but he's going to be wearing red for the first time in his career. That bears watching. You got Team Mercedes replacing Lewis Hamilton with an 18-year-old Euro who's come up through the system and got his license. His name is Kimi Antonelli. At age 18, he's going to be on the course with all these legends.
Got his racing license or his driver's license?
Probably both at the same time. Third storyline is Team Red Bull. This stuff just doesn't end. Max Verstappen, the drama. I mean, he won the points championship last year. He's been the dominant driver for 2.5 years. Constant criticism, unhappiness. He sounds off in Melbourne. We don't have a chance to win. We've had a terrible offseason. And he's in the final year of his contract. Just as Max Verstappen drama with Team Red Bull just continues. And then there's Team McLaren. And that's led by the bright young driver Lando Norris, who really had a great second half of the season. A lot of people say, will they keep this up? Was that a fluke because Verstappen and Red Bull fell apart? Lando Norris says at the podium, we have arrived. So Formula One, don't miss Australian Grand Prix on the weekend. PGA LIV, the latest on the Pro Golf Tour. Jay Monahan, the commissioner, says our negotiations continue with LIV in Saudi Arabia. There are ebbs, there are flows, and then he drops the word obstacles. And yeah, that's still there. He says we're trying to figure out what the Euro Tour of this merger should look like and whether we incorporate team play and the LIV format in the European tournaments. We don't want them part of the PGA Tour. And then you got the golfers. Justin Thomas sounds off. We can't get this done. We have not forgotten what Phil Mickelson and DJ Dustin Johnson or Brooks Koepka said and did when they were leaving us violating the tour card to take the money to go. We just can't forgive them. Rory McIlroy says, I am exhausted by this crisis. He says the resentment, however, in that locker room has not gone away towards the guys who left. And Scotty Scheffler says, I just want to play golf. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So that's where we are. A lot of complications, PGA versus the LIV. And then in soccer, Manchester United ownership has announced plans to build a $2.6 billion brand new soccer stadium. It'd be the English Premier's Taj Mahal. It would be 100,000 fans, but they're not going to build it at the site of Old Trafford, which has stood since 1910. They're going to move into downtown London and try to build the stadium. And the board of directors of Manchester United is of the opinion, how can we spend $2.6 billion on a new stadium? We're going to get money to invest in the roster because ManU right now, the Red Devils are not what ManU used to be in soccer. They've fallen on really hard times, and the board of directors is questioning the leadership, the CEO of why would we do this in a new stadium? How are we going to be able to finance our soccer teams, men and women Manchester United teams, and all the support infrastructure leagues that we put out money for? How are we going to do that if we have to pay $2.6 billion for this 100,000 seat shiny new stadium? So a lot of stories there. John, go ahead.
Weren't we just talking about how the fans were revolting?
Yes.
About the higher prices. And so now you got a big stadium coming, but the team in Manchester would play in London. Is that what you're saying? I mean,
Manchester's not close to London last I checked.
No, it's not. No, I mean, it's quite a drive, but Man City would love that. They kind of have the whole thing to themselves. I want to go back to F1 because, when you were talking about McLaren racing, I just did a quick look up on my phone because I was trying to figure out what's McLaren, but it's like one of those exotic $200,000-$300,000 cars, I guess like a Ferrari or something.
That's the one you're going to put in your garage.
Yeah, exactly. But then it got me thinking about, and like in NASCAR, we know that the cars are like Ford, Chevy, Toyota. Is that a big thing in F1, those manufacturers?
Manufacturers, but they all operate with the same specs, which is unbelievable financial investment in power, aerodynamics, etc. The number of people employed on an F1 team and the creative intelligence goes into setting up these cars is just absolutely phenomenal. And the computerized stuff they use on race day is just amazing. Everything they gauge and handling and aerodynamics and fuel load. It's a very complicated thing. It's just not getting in a car and going fast. There's all type of scientific things go into it.
It's not Cale Yarborough racing.
No, it's not good old boy. In your dad's 1957 Hudson Hornet.
Yeah, and I just love those old like shows where you see the old racing in the early part of the 20th century and the way we've come along. But yeah, I mean, the F1 thing, I'm learning more. We're learning more about soccer, auto racing, a lot of Europe influence. It's truly global sports.
Yeah, very much so.